You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy&April. And good morning on the East Coast. There, West Coast. Yeah, West Coast. Good morning, good afternoon, Central and East. But anyways, it's Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. To our men and women who are serving across the world, around the nation, away from home, away from Texas. I'll get to that later. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices and commitments in keeping our freedoms and our country safe. We salute you, we honor you, and we appreciate what you do. So this week, man, like what a week. So I'll touch on it later. I just know that there's going to be some pushback later about what I'm talking about today. And that's okay. That's what we're here for. But more so, I'm trying to fix something here. But more so, Rush Limbaugh has passed away this week. He was 70 years old, but we all knew that he was battling stage 4 cancer there. So he's resting comfortably now, I'm sure. Our thoughts and condolences and prayers to the family and friends and people around the nation who's been listening to him for over 30 years, 40 years actually. Yeah, a little bit over 30 years. And it's I guess you could say a stake in the heart to the conservative community, because a lot of people respected him and held him in high regard and everything else. And more so, what I found starkly interesting this week, from the hour that it was announced that he passed away, those on the left were like literally cheering about this. And I was kind of like taken aback. I almost got to the point where I was about to start blocking people on Facebook and other social media platforms because of it. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I want to see who's being ugly. And anytime that someone passes away, whether you agreed with their political views, their personal views, their religious views, or whatnot, it's really not. That's not really a time of celebration, especially because you don't agree with them on those parameters. But I mean, yeah, we celebrate with Bin Laden being killed. Yeah, I mean, he had to go. That's kind of like that was a universal agreement there. But when you have that partisan type of rhetoric that you're saying, oh, he was racist or he was a conservative, so we're glad he's dead. Yeah, it's like seriously, like who raised that? Like that's like totally disgusting. But I don't know. I just that kind of stuff just kind of like irks me a little bit. But yeah, I don't get it. But anyways, people people will be people. I'll say that. But moving on from that. Bob Dole also announced that he has stage 4 cancer. Breaking the same day that Rush Limbaugh passed away. Now with Bob Dole has served this country for it seemed like a century, but it was decades, and a lot of people hold high regard and respect for him as well. So we wish his family the best of luck, and our prayers and thoughts are with them as he's going through cancer. But anything can happen. Anything's possible, especially when you have a faith and that belief that all things are possible through God. So we um we send our thoughts and prayers to the family for that. Last night, I cooked a corned beef brisket and had a cup of lunch. And this morning I woke up feeling just like horrible, like my stomach was like just done. So I've been like bleh today. So if you see why I am still tired because of, and then on top of that, April, my wife, had the bedroom heat, the heat in the room like set on settings of not only are you in hell, but you're burning in hell setting. And so having a CPAP machine on and trying to sleep, and it's hot like that, and you're sweating, and your face is constricted because you got this mask on. It just did not help. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, I ripped it off, ran out the room, laid on the couch in the living room for a little bit because it was much, much cooler in the living room. And I was like, oh my God. I was starting to bring everything out into the living room and sleep on the couch for the rest of the morning, but I was like, all right, I don't feel like going through all of that, but I do need to get back in the bed. And so I did that, get back in the bed, and next thing you know, it was like 6 a.m. and I was like wet from sweat. So I was like, screw it. I just got up, got cleaned up and everything, and got into a couple of conferences this morning because we're also got part of Student Vendors of America's national convention that's going on online this year. And so I was listening in on a couple of sessions there this morning. And I'm taking a break from that to be with you all right now. But going on right now in my neck of the woods. But in the Australian Open, Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka faced off, and so Serena Williams succumbed to Naomi's uh, butt whooping, and so she was out, got eliminated from that. So it's ironic because Serena Williams has 24 Grand Slam titles, single titles, to her name. Osaka, I think she's up to 4 or 5 or something like that. But she's much younger, and she's a rising star. Well, she is a star in the tennis world. And I remember last year, I want to say it was last year, the year before, towards the end of 2019, we uh we talked about Naomi Osaka and how a lot of people were, especially in the black community, were trying to yank her into the black community status, black girl magic. That was a hashtag that was going on when she beat Serena the first time. And so she's since cleared that up and said, I'm not identifying solely as black. I don't remember. I think her father was from Jamaica, mother's from Japan, or her father is Haitian, mother's from Japan. I know mother's from Japan, something like that. But she's even categorized as not only being a U.S. tennis player, but Japan has claimed her. So when she's traveling about playing in these different tournaments and what have you, she's listed as from being from Japan. So Japan has claimed her. But I just find that pretty funny. But anywho, so yeah, that's what's going on right now in the world, in across the spectrums there. So hey, we're gonna jump to a quick commercial break. I am over time on that, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned and see you in a few minutes.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Americans owe $1.57 trillion in student debt.
Will the rising trade tensions between the U.S. and China just keep pushing these markets lower?
Underemployment among recent college grads is actually worse today than it was in the early 2000s.
Saving for retirement. What's the magic number?
It's not easy to ignore the financial problems we have today. Crippling student loan debt, not enough income, living worse than paycheck to paycheck, and GoFundMe pages for life's emergencies. Worse is having nothing much to financially show for. In retirement, not a chance. Everyone talks about it, yet very few bring financial solutions to solve it. Until now.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
One company dares to dream bigger and do the impossible. One company pushes the limits of the status quo. One company stands above the rest and redefining an entire industry. We are PHP Agency. Teaching the basics of entrepreneurship, PHP Agency is equipping agents with a step-by-step blueprint. Tracking, reporting, and accountability are key factors to business development. PHP Agency is attracting the leading companies in the insurance industry and drawing major attention from major influencers.
The care with which PHP treats every single consumer. PHP is different in the sense that you know that the people working at the company, from the CEO to individual agents, truly care about their customers.
PHP teaches the rules of the money game to a multicultural demographic that has been overlooked and underserved. Most have never been exposed to what entrepreneurship can do for the typical family. PHP's culture of competition and attention to personal development accelerates one's success. With the top compensation package in the marketplace for entrepreneurial agency builders, PHP is ushering a new era of multicultural and diverse agents. Like world travel, PHP Agency awards top performers on exotic trips to create lifelong experiences. There's a reason why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. PHP Agency is helping those take a stand and stop generational poverty by impacting those overlooked and underserved. PHP is more than just an insurance marketing organization. It's a mission, a cause, and a crusade. Connect with us and become part of this movement.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, Texas, here we go, is experiencing the Winter Wonderland right now. I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and just speculating from outsiders, even some from within Texas, because Texas is unique in a lot of ways. And for in terms of number one, we have gotten snow and ice and stuff here before, so this is not a new phenomenon. But when it's so spaced out, the last time I guess Texas had a snowstorm like this was 2011. But I remember back when I was living here in 1999, and we were shut down for 5 days because we got slammed with so much snow and ice and everything else. So it's not anything new per se, but the idea that there's windmills, the windmills are acting up or freezed over, and the solar panels are not working properly to distribute the power and all that. No, that's not how any of this works. Because in this area particularly, it's gridded and it's broken up. So not one, say for example, the subdivision that I live in, it's not dependent on the street. So we would have power, but they may not have power. So it depends on what's going on. There's many variables and factors that they're playing into the power outages and everything else. Now the largest cities, they're probably interconnected into one grid. So when the power goes out, they're all out. And but for us down in this area in Central Texas, it's a little bit more broken up. So you have power distribution boxes and what have you that may be very well insulated, depending on when they were built, because you do have legacy systems in place here. So there's issues. You have legacy issues, legacy system issues. You have nuclear plants and thermal energy plants and what have you that are not up to snuff for the demand of heat from all the customers in different areas. Say, for example, down the street from us, 10-minute drive, Coppers Cove, Texas. damn near the whole entire city is out of power down there, but we have power here. So what you're seeing in the media and in the news and in the talks, even from ERCOT, which is the kind of like the council that deals with all this, the Electricity Reliability Council of Texas, they're even trying to clarify and clean up a lot of information that's being put out there. But one thing that people are not realizing is that yes, Texas is typically hot year round. So you're trying to we have our little rain, a little sleet here and there, but the bottom line is it's relatively temperate here, and the little the few instances out of the year, out of the winter months where power lines and stuff are freeze over and whatnot, doesn't really necessarily justify spending billions of dollars to, um, I guess you could say, upgrade or to ensure that there is no interruption in power flow. They don't see it that way. Okay, the power may go out for a couple of hours or maybe a couple of days, but all in all, the systems are running just fine. In the summer months, everybody is blasting air. So the systems for high demand in air conditioning versus high demand in heat because it doesn't get cold like that here. I mean, I can go outside. Right now it's 32 degrees outside. The snow is melting. The ice is falling off the rooftops and everything else. So, but there's still power shortages in different locations. Matter of fact, I literally right now I have a couple of friends here, April and mine, for years. We've been friends for years. They live down the street, and they're here getting cleaned up and everything because they're out of power. So this is not like some nation like statewide issue per se. It's pockets. So a lot of people are not understanding that, but I, the talks around Green New Deal, solar panel, windmills. This is why y'all need to be on a national grid and not your independent grids. It has nothing to do with that. These are just talks and talking points to push the narrative for the Green New Deal and for Texas and other states that may be experiencing the similar issues to change over from fossil fuels and renewable energy sources. Hell, at the end of the day, when you are having a catastrophic weather phenomenon like this, and you don't have the proper infrastructure within, say, a renewable energy source like windmills and electric cars and whatnot. Electric cars, the battery could die because it's too cold for the battery. Your charging system may go out because guess what? You can get no power because it's too cold. So I mean, there's different things. I mean, we're seeing this problem in Alaska, even at the Egan Center, for example. I was reading a story about Alaska. It's like keep it well Alaskans because I'm an Alaska resident. But the Egan Center in Alaska, they have solar panels and everything else, and they're having issues with maintaining electricity for the building because why? The snow comes down and covers the panels, so it can't absorb the sunlight. So I mean, that's don't don't relegate issues to like one or two things because there's variable factors of issues and or reasons why an issue occurs, and especially in some areas. So that's that. But I don't know, but we'll be okay. Yes, granted, there's millions of people throughout the state of Texas. Texas is a very big state. It'll take you about 2 days to get out of Texas if you're driving. So there's millions of people without power. There's millions of people without water. The water plants are running out of water because they don't have the power distribution to push water to these locations. We're on a boil notice right now. So there's like I said, there's a lot of factors. Some places are doing just fine. My neighborhood, we're doing fine. But you go 3 or 4 blocks over, blackout drive over there. So I mean, it just depends. So poker fun is fun, poke fun, but in the despair of everybody's situations, yes, it's not funny, and nobody's trying to make light of the situation. But at the end of the day, the reality is this, that it happens. And we're human enough to realize and recognize that sometimes your life is going to suck, and sometimes you have to bear through and grit through things that's uncomfortable. And that's what I said. I know I'm gonna get some pushback and some blast, but some people gonna blast me like asshole. Okay, fine, whatever. Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, he flew down to Cancun, Mexico during this storm. I'm like, what's the big deal? People have lives. Just because you're a senator or the president or a congressperson or whatever, you people have lives. And let's be honest here. Are you really mad that he packed up his family and he went to Cancun on vacation during a winter storm? Like, are you seriously mad about that? What about the people that snowbird throughout the year from different locations? You have people that live in Alaska, they go to Hawaii during the winter. You have people in New York that go to Florida during the winter. Are you mad at them? There's crises going on in these locations. People are without power, are homeless. Water pipes are bursting in these very same locations, and these are elected officials, leaders of community. Sorry, we have a real crisis across the country, and it's the homeless population. Another crisis going on across the country is called the suicide rate. We have another crisis that's going on across the country. People are dying from these of low income, so they can't support their families. Um, we have this virus that's running around going on right now. So we're in a pandemic, if you want to call it that. Okay, whatever. So we every day there's a crisis somewhere in the country and in the world. So are people that are in positions supposed to stop their life to bear the brunt of these issues with the community every single day? No. Stop lying to yourself. If you were in a position to say, hey, I can fly out to Florida tomorrow morning, be on the beach and chill, you're gonna do it. You may not get the news coverage that Senator Cruz got, but you would do it. And so a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just bad optics." Well, why? Why is it bad optics? Because the man he has a break from work, from the Senate. Days to kind of like unwind, decompress, hang out with his friends. Is that like really a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen? Like seriously, let's think about this for a minute. Let's think about what we're asking of our leaders. Our leaders are not allowed to decompress, take some time off, vacation. Well, then why are you doing it? If you are in a leadership position in your profession, why are you taking time off? I'll wait. I've been in the military. I was in the military for over 22 years. And yes, we gone through some shit. Being in the field, horrible conditions, without internet, without hot water, without electricity at times because the generators decide to stop working, blow up or whatever. You're in Iraq in 110-degree weather, and the power goes out for hours at a time, and you're on night shift, so you're sleeping during the day. At the hottest peak of the day, it's your little box of metal called a chew is so hot that it exceeds the temperature that's outside. So you just open your door and you like laying on the steps, like, oh my god. Like, are we supposed to just like say, okay, you know what? This is part of life, and we can still do things that make us happy, or are we just supposed to just stop everything and say, oh, these people are suffering, so I'm gonna suffer with them? Come on, stop kidding yourself. That's not how life works, and you know this. So to everybody that's being critical, criticizing, you're being hypocritical because you know good and hell well if you were in that situation, you would probably take advantage of it too. Now, who knows? He probably already had this stuff planned. Most people have that kind of thing planned in advance. It's not like you just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to go to Cancun today. No, not too many people do that. And if they do, something's wrong with them. So this is probably a pre-planned trip, and they decide, okay, well, conditions are what it is, and we still can go, and that's that. So I mean, I don't want to spend too much more time on that. Well, I don't want to spend any more time on that. You just know that people are being silly with the fake outrage, and I'm over it. Anyways, I'll be right back. Jump to a commemoration segment of Black History that a lot of people probably don't know about, and I'll talk about that after I show these videos. So stay tuned.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Put your hands together.
Damn.
Say it again.
Hey! What you doing back here? Mufasa!
Say it again. Feel right in his.
I've just discovered that I may have a son here in this land.
How much child support is she getting from?
The king pays no child support.
No child support for 30 years and you came back? You was a dummy!
Hello, I am Hakim Jaffer, King of Zamunda. You are the heir to the throne.
Yes, my father. He's supposed to be like the prince of Wakanda.
Wakanda is a fictional place.
Not to everybody.
Zamunda is a very real nation.
I don't need no handout.
Wait a minute.
All right, I'm gonna pack. Okay,
Presenting King Akim's son from America.
And my mom's.
And his mom's.
Children, this is your brother.
Hey, Quine. I'm sorry I slept with your man.
This happened before we even met.
It's not like you're the first man I've ever been with.
What did you just say about the other men?
Coming to America, now it's coming to me.
I always thought that Mika was going to be queen.
A woman isn't allowed to rule Zamunda. It's the law.
Did it ever occur to you that Mika wanted to be your heir?
Don't you dare banish me from my own bedroom.
How you doing, King?
I'm getting it from everywhere. I have upset my family.
You must be strong.
And General Izzy would love nothing more than to take over Zamunda.
Raise it higher.
I'm a king,
Put your hands together.
I like that.
Say it again.
Give me all.
It's a party over here!
I must admit, your style is foreign to my kingdom, but is impressive.
That's right. There you go. Let me hear you say, hey, ho.
Hey, ho!
No, don't do that. That's his mother.
Oh, don't you say it.
No, not to his mother.
Almost ready to become a prince.
Almost. It is time.
Ceremonial circumcision.
Bring forward the royal machete.
Machete?
They're gonna sharpen your tool, nephew.
Coming to America, now it's coming to me. I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Kirk Waddy, and welcome to Black Inventors and Innovators. Do me a favor before we get started, press the like and subscribe button at the bottom of the screen and help us to further on with creating a library here for us to learn from. Let's talk about steam engines. Benjamin Bradley, he was born a slave in Maryland in March 1836. It has been theorized that he learned how to read from his master's children. Now, as a teenager, Bradley worked at a printing office. He showed great ingenuity and mechanical skills by the age of 16 when he built a steam engine out of a gun barrel pewter, which is a type of metal, round steel, and other items. His master was so impressed that he was able to get him a job as a helper in the Department of Natural and Experimental Philosophy at the Naval Academy at Annapolis. During his time at the Naval Academy, Bradley built a steam engine and was able to sell it. With the money he had made from selling the steam engine and the money that he had saved while working at the Naval Academy, he developed and built a steam engine large enough to run the first cutter of a sloop of war. However, because he was a slave, he was never able to receive a patent for his work. I give you Benjamin Bradley's steam engine. I'm Kirk Waddy. Remember to press the like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time right here at Black Inventors and Innovators. Bye-bye. Toot-toot, steam engine. I guess that's what they make.
Samuel Massey was an influential black chemist who worked at Ames Laboratory to develop a usable form of uranium for the Manhattan Project. He went on to become the first black professor at the U.S. Naval Academy. Massey attended HBCUs, or historically black colleges and universities, dedicated to uplifting non-white students, prior to attending Iowa State University for his PhD. At Iowa State, he had a lab in the basement, segregated from the white chemistry students. Black students were not allowed to board on campus, and so like many others, Massey stayed with the Martins, a local family who supported black education. When seeking to defer his draft to continue earning his PhD, an Army recruiter called him a slur and said he already had enough education for a black man. A university mentor intervened, recruiting him for the Manhattan Project, where he would help Ames Lab scientists purify and utilize uranium for the atomic bomb. When the war ended, Massey finished his PhD and spent the majority of his career researching chemistry applications in health and trying to make STEM careers more accessible to black students. His career at the Naval Academy spanned 28 years, where he served as chairman of the chemistry department, co-founded a Black Studies program, and mentored hundreds of black midshipmen. In 1998, Massey was named one of the 75 most distinguished chemists of the 20th century by readers of Chemical and Engineering News, one of only 3 black Americans who were recognized. He died in 2005 in Laurel, Maryland, shortly after his wife of 58 years. For more information about Dr. Samuel Massey and his accomplishments, please go to the link in the description below.
Hey, welcome back. So, like I said before we went on break there, commemoration of Black History Month, and I selected these two particular individuals because I'm helping a friend put together a presentation for Black History Month to naval cadets at the United States Naval Academy down in Annapolis, Maryland. And as we was going through, I was like, I heard of the one Benjamin Bradley. I heard of Benjamin Bradley, but I didn't know exactly what he did. I just heard the name. But Samuel P. Massey was another one that kind of stood out to me that I did not know about. And being a student of history, especially of African American history, you run across a gamut of so many people throughout the inception of humankind, literally, from around the world that were black people, not so much as African, just Americans that were black, but just Africans itself, and how they traveled around different parts of the world, done remarkable things in said countries. So you run across so many, and we get hung up on the fact that Black History Month is relegated to just Americans, Black Americans in America type of thing. But we kind of need to get away from that a little bit. If we're going to celebrate Black History Month, then let's celebrate people from around the world type of thing. If we're gonna go there, but that's why I'm kind of like a proponent of getting rid of Black History Month, because Not so much get rid of it, but yeah, get rid of it, and we can celebrate Black History any time of the year. And but to appease those who say that I don't support it, it's not that I don't it's necessary because you can do this any time. I have done this many times outside of February, but for these particular individuals, I thought they've done some pretty remarkable things for the United States of America. Sammy P. Massey worked on the atomic bombs. Who knew? So I mean, it's like these are little things that, and Benjamin Bradley there, he invented the steam engine for the warships for the Navy. Like who knew? Type of thing. But it goes back to what I had this discussion also going on day before yesterday morning, about reparations, and that's a never ending discussion. Oh my God! But I was on another friend of mine's page, and it was a very civil discussion. But the one thing that I explained is you have it's hard to utilize a generalized event like slavery, for example, and say that what happened 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 150 years ago is a impact directly to what's going on in your life, that you could justify getting a payment from the government for it. I mean, it's just in that context, it doesn't make sense because let's say during Reconstruction, your great 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 grandfather got land, got compensated. He did very well with it. He maintained it, uh, made money from it, passed it on to his son. His son maintained it for the most part. Probably got rid of a few acres because it was too much to manage. Started another business, had a family, moved on to another location or stayed at that location. That son inherited what was left over, did things, maybe got rid of everything and said, you know what, this is not for me. This is not what I want to do. I'm gonna go east and hang out, with the brothers and sisters up in Harlem. So now the war kicks off and gets deployed, comes back home, has to figure out life all over again, has a family, passes on whatever he has to that person. That person decides to live life, have a family, so on and so forth. So not only did 2 generations ago the land and business and everything else was lost, it's you can't sit there and go back and say, well, they didn't know what they were doing, so you got to pay me again. No, no, that's not how this works. And but then there's an argument of, well, Jewish people get compensated, then Native Americans get compensated, Chinese people get compensated. Yes, because that's stuff that was that happened directly to them. So what they did with their resources or their payments and what have you, they created generational wealth from that. Sorry, that's just facts, ladies and gentlemen. I know you don't like facts, but that's what we deal with here. And those that are still getting payments or what have you, that's a generational thing that was negotiated for whatever reason. You can get into the weeds of all that stuff on your own time. But just understand that there are actually black people too that are getting benefits and what have you from the government because they may be have tribal members and what have you, because you do have to prove ancestry within certain tribes in order to get benefits from that as well. A lot of people don't understand that or know that. There are black people, who identify as being Hasidic, being Jewish, that live in Israel. Yes, believe it or not. So, I mean, like I said, we can go into the gamut of all these things, but do your research before you start espousing uh, data points that are incorrect or not reflecting the subjective perspectives of how things went down over generations. So that's that. But Biden, President Biden with an asterisk, he of a town talked about one of the segments was talking about student loan debt, and he went into talking about how he cannot, as president, just wipe $50,000 in student loan debt, but he can do $10,000 in student loan debt. Now, if you remember during the campaign cycle, this was one of the left's biggest campaign talking points was getting rid of the student debt, clearing $50,000 because most people have only up to $50,000, maybe 53, 55, whatever. But you have most people have like that chunk of student loan debt. So this was their pitch that they get rid of it and everything else. Even Congress has encouraged President Biden with an asterisk to go ahead and put in order. You don't need legislation to do it, but he's contending that he can't do it because that's something that is a legislative action. If Congress, so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If Congress had to pass legislation in order for him to ordain or write off $50,000 of student loan debt from Americans that have it, then why don't Congress just go ahead and do it? They have control of the Senate, they have control of the House. Generate the bill, put it through, and let's get it done. If that's the case. But here's the thing. This was a duping opportunity. They had no intention of undoing $50,000. That's why $10,000 has been hanging in the balance and in part of the conversation more and more, because they know that if they wipe away $50,000 in debt, that will free up income for many minority families, and particularly women in these minority groups who took out student loan debt to pay for their law degrees, their nursing degrees, their or other medical profession degrees, doctor degrees, and business degrees, and what have you. That's a big chunk of the population, the U.S. population, that will be essentially debt free of student loan debt. They're like, no, we can't have that because now they'll be like too independent. They won't be dependent on us because they got that thing attached to them. That's the mechanism there. But more so, what pissed me off. Yes, it was coming. It was coming. Check this out.
The other portion is a lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular store.
Yes, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a minority, black, Hispanic, black, brown, whatever, you are in a city or urban community, if you live in a rural area, you are not smart enough to get on the internet to figure out how to register for a COVID shot or the vaccine. You're not smart enough. This straight out of his mouth, ladies and gentlemen. You can pivot. You can whataboutism to Trump all day long if you want to. I don't give a damn. You can do it. But proof is in the pudding that this man sat up here and told you once, but twice, that you're dumb. If you gotta figure out whether you for me or for Trump, you ain't black. Folks, I can't make this stuff up. Even if I wanted, even if I tried. I can't be Q or QAnon in making these things up, pass it along. This man literally said that we're not smart enough. Like he just totally excluded the white population as not being affected by this. Even the ones that live in these same communities. No, they're smart enough. You people are not smart enough to figure out how to register to get a COVID shot. But miraculously, we're smart enough, Mr. President, to go online and register to vote. We're smart enough, apparently, to go online and fill out absentee ballots and whatever else to vote for you. But we're not smart enough to go online and fill out an application to get a shot. Got it. We're smart enough to go online and book trips to travel. We're smart enough to go online and actually complete homeschool, schooling work, get degrees online. But we're not smart enough to go online to do do shots, to look up Walgreens and see their hours and see their availability for getting the vaccine. We're not smart enough for that one. No, no, no. Okay. Got it. just want to make sure. I just want to clarify that. But folks, like I already told y'all back in I think it was December that I was looking forward to this administration. I was like, yes, please give it to me. And this is why, because this is the thing that I will thoroughly enjoy doing through the duration of the Biden asterisk administration. Policy saying stuff like this. I mean, just the debacles that go on within this administration that the media is not covering is just like, wow, did that really just happen? But that's okay, because that's why TECN exists. Is we're here to bring you the information, bring you the stories, bring you the topics that no one else is willing to talk about. This man, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw, he even said it live during this town hall in Milwaukee, probably to an audience of a majority minority, to their faces. You're not smart enough to go online and figure out how to get a vaccine. And CNN and everybody else just probably just brushed over that. No one else has talked about it since then. I did have people on Facebook the other day try to justify it. Well, that's not what he meant. You know that, Randy. No, I don't know that. What I heard is what I heard. This is not verified people on both sides arguing, where you cut a little snippet out and leaving the context out of. I'm not talking about the Klan. I'm not talking about white supremacists. I'm talking about the people that were there peacefully doing the right thing. There was people good on both sides. You missed that last 30-second part. All you caught was, oh, there was white supremacists out there, so there's good people on both sides, huh? Yeah. This segment there, that's not that. That was minorities are dumb. No context before, no context needed after. That's what that was. I can't make this stuff up, folks. I really can't. Anyways, I'm down to the bottom of the hour. I love tapping. I know people like, that's one of his things. Yes, it is. I thank you all for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter, rperm. You can follow me on social media, LinkedIn, and what have you. I did have a bunch of connection requests on LinkedIn today and yesterday. That's great. I want to connect with you all, network, discuss stuff. You can follow me on Parler. Parler is back up and running now. MeWe, Gab, Facebook, whole shebang. Just whatever social media platform that you utilize, you just type in my name, and I'm sure I'll pop up on there and connect with me, and we'll go from there. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to me, let me know, and we'll arrange something. Talk about whatever you like. The ball be in your court. If you want to be a sponsor or advertiser on the show, let me know. You said I'm advertising a few different things. And if you want to support the program, support me, supporting you. You can cash at me at our $ RPURHAM 4, the number 4, US. And same thing with PayPal, RPerm for US on PayPal as well. And I thank you all once again for hanging out with me for this last hour. And we will, before I forget, You can pick up my book, The New You, Now Equipped with Wisdom, on Amazon in e-Kindle format as well. And we'll talk to you all Monday. Yeah, Monday. So, yeah. Take care. God bless. Have a good day.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.